This one mindset will destroy your creative growth, and I know this from personal experience. I fell into this trap for many, many years, and I have a very embarrassing story to share around this topic, which is why I've been hesitant to record this video. I've had this idea for this video for a long time, and honestly, I feel a little bit icky talking about this because I'm gonna have to admit to some of my own flaws, but let's jump into it. Many years ago, I would see the same artist pop up on my Pinterest feed over and over again. I would see the same artist, these ink drawings that were quite amazing, these amazing ink drawings. And every time they would pop up, I would have the same thought. Why is this artist so popular? Why do people like this artist so much? Right? Why does the feed keep giving me the same artist? Stop showing me this artist. They're not worth the amount of accolades and attention that they're getting. I was jealous of this artist. Despite them being tremendously amazing at ink drawings, which is the main thing that I look at, right? Like, I love ink drawings, I love tattoos, so that's what I look at, which is why Pinterest was like, look at this artist. This artist, you're supposed to like this artist because everything else you like is related back to this artist. Like, a lot of the taste fit within this artist's work. And I kept feeling very jealous of them. I kept telling myself that, hey, they don't deserve all that. They're not that good. Why are they getting all this attention? Why aren't my drawings getting the same attention? I would see this artist as competition. Their success made me feel lesser, which is the mindset that you have to get rid of. You have to get rid of this way of thinking. If you look at other artists and you do feel this kind of jealousy and a tinge of like, why do they get all these accolades? The first thing that you need to do is step back and ask yourself, why do you see these artists as competition? I saw this artist, which the artist is Ian McKay. I think that's how you pronounce it. They're an ink artist. I'll put a piece of their work up here. And honestly, Ian, if you ever see this, I'm sorry. I don't know why I thought that way. Like, honestly, your work is amazing. And his work is in all my inspiration folders now because I recognize that actually we're on the same team, right? We're not in competition with each other. Attention online, being an artist, none of these games are zero-sum games. The better other artists do, the better your life becomes. The more beautiful art there is out in the world, the better the world becomes. We're all on the same team. We're ultimately all serving the same energy. We're all tapping in to this energy of creating things that are beautiful. And that is what you need to adopt as a mentality. There are healthy forms of competition where you're almost like chasing another artist, where you're like, I love this work so much, let me work as hard as possible to catch up to them. That's a healthy form of competition because you're still acknowledging the beauty in their work. That is completely different. If you're looking at someone's Instagram profile and you're like, oh my God, they have so many followers, but their art isn't even that good. Like that kind of like negative, gossipy, like gross feeling that people need to just get rid of that feeling altogether because ultimately we're all serving the same purpose. We're all making stuff. And sometimes artists who don't make beautiful work by your standards are resonating with an audience whose work that makes sense for, right? Like the work of that artist makes sense for that specific audience, and that audience wouldn't be yours anyways because they don't resonate with types of things that you like. You see this within music all the time where people will complain about certain pop artists being super popular. And I fell into this as well, but ultimately it's like, well, those people who are listening to that type of music, that makes sense for them and it doesn't make sense for you, and you don't have to understand it to appreciate it, right? Like you can appreciate the fact that people have different tastes. You can appreciate the fact that not everything is made for you. Not everything is made for you. There's plenty of art online that I see that I'm like, I don't resonate with this, but I can recognize that this will be beautiful to someone else. And obviously, as you develop a critical eye, your taste becomes more and more narrow as an artist. But what I would recommend you do as a creative is always remember that, like, even though you're very critical of other art, also remember that it's beautiful, right? So always practice the skill of recognizing the beauty in other artists' work, and that will develop a sense of inspiration, right? It'll make it so much easier for you to get energized by seeing other artists. The more you can recognize the beauty in other artists' work, the easier all of this becomes. The big reason that I fell into this trap of feeling negative energy around looking at other artists succeed came from a place of me not actually having the courage to do the pieces that I wanted to do. My perfectionism got in the way of me actually executing on pieces that meant a lot to me and like the ideas that actually mattered in my mind. So I had all this like pent up negativity and insecurity, and then I was externalizing that onto other artists instead of just taking the time to realize that, hey, You feel all these negative feelings because you know that you're being a coward in terms of your creativity. You're avoiding the things that you actually want to make. You're letting perfectionism destroy all of that creative energy, right? You're letting all of those expectations get in your way. That is ultimately why you're not as happy for other artists. Because once you start making pieces that you're happy with, that express a part of you, even though they're not at the level that you want them to be, but they still feel true to you, it makes it so much lighter. It makes you feel lighter, so you don't feel the same negative energy when looking at other artists. So if you are an artist, whatever you do, make sure to take time to actually do the drawings that you care about. I bet if you are an artist that struggles with jealousy, it's probably because you're not executing on the ideas that actually matter to you. Because once you start doing that, everything becomes easier. It becomes so much easier to be inspired by other artists. It makes everything better. So it makes you better technically, it makes you feel better. It makes art matter so much more. You'll feel more energized to do it. It's a little bit challenging. There'll be challenges that come up when you do execute on these ideas. It's not as all rainbows and sunshines, right? There are challenges that will come up, but it will be worth it. And if you want my help with that, check out the Inner Artist course. I designed that course specifically for my younger self because I wasted years and years not doing the pieces that actually mattered to me. I didn't take the time to introspect on my expectations around my art practice and perfectionism that got in the way. That's why we started off the course with that. And there's a bunch of other questions that I should have asked myself. For example, like, what parts of yourself are you not willing to include in your art? Like, what are you hiding from your art practice that could be in it? Like, what aspects of your personality could you maybe include that you haven't tried including yet? There's so many different questions that you could ask yourself and grapple with that can really unlock your creativity. So if you want my help with that, check out the Inner Artist course, but always remember that you can always execute on your ideas on your own. You don't need my help necessarily, but it might speed up your process. And also check out all the other videos on the channel. See you around. Bye.